Welcome everybody to the Digital Diversity Podcast, a show all about queer games and the fantastic folks that make them. My goodness, it's been a long time since I said that. I am Maddie. I go by time patches on the internet. I use she, her pronouns. I am a panromantic asexual lady, and I am a game dev. I make visual novels that are all about gay shit. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I am Kaiju, pronouns they, them. I am a diamoric demisexual. I am a streamer, a blogger, a sometimes game dev. In general, just gay as shit and living that life.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Oh man, it's been a long time.
Not a man.
Yes, men in general.
Sorry, I always have to throw in the Janet line. It's just
That's fair.
so pervasive. It's such an easy one to throw in.
What an icon. Anyway, yes, it's been a long time. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode for people who have listened to us before. We don't have an interview this time around because everything's been a lot and we've taken a little bit of time off. I know we've had a filler episode last month where Kaiju did a little filler to give you at least some little dregs of content.
But last month, I can't keep track of time anymore. I
don't know. Was it last month? What is time? Who knows?
2020 has been the cursed year containing every other year within itself. Where yeah. we're gonna come out of 2020 a decade older.
Oh, I feel a decade older already. I tell you.
Heck.
Anyway, we're going to start off today with a little bit of a personal catch-up where we talk about just what's been going on since we missed a couple of months. So why don't you start?
As of recording, this is we're pretty much in the middle of PAX Online. I think it's Thursday today. I can't remember what day of the week it is anymore.
Same.
I think it's Thursday, which means there's 3 more days of PAX Online going on. I was hosting the State of Queer panel on Monday,
which was amazing. If you didn't catch it, watch the VOD. It was so good.
We were nervous as heck, but the online format really, really worked for what we were doing. Does not compare to being able to do it in a live room full of the collective groans and laughter and everything. But having 300 people watching you and half of them are in the Discord was pretty great. There was
Discord chat was amazing. It was great in there.
That immediate reaction from people through Discord was a lot of fun because usually for that sort of thing you wait for the Twitter posts. You normally hashtag it and you go into the Twitter posts. There was not as much news as last year. There was a lot of news last year. I think we had something like 45 separate articles we were going through last year. This year we had about a dozen because it's been a quote-unquote quiet year. We actually got to talk about some games that we liked this year, so that was... instead of having to rush the entire thing. So that was fun. But yeah, that was really great. The group that I was working with were fantastic. They always are. And I'm really happy that we did it. And I'm glad it got to happen this year because it was either going to happen or we were going to podcast it. Either way. But it did, and that was good. Outside of that, things have been a little quiet, I guess. I had to move and there's been a lot of stuff going on in my life, so I haven't had a lot of spoons to do stuff with, but I have started getting back into my visual novel. I found an artist who's doing the art that I couldn't even have imagined it was going to end up that good, but he's just pumping it out. So every day he's over in Catalonia and draws a lot of monster stuff. And I'm just like, hey, you and I should do a game together one day. And it's like, yeah, we should do that. It's like, here's what I'm doing. And he just draws something up for the main character in a couple of hours. And my mind was blown.
If this is the artist I think it is, he's incredible. And crazy output.
Yeah, he does a bunch of stuff for... the queer D&D community, all sorts of stuff, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm really loving it. So whenever you see a lot of the queer D&D stuff or the queer TTRPG stuff, it's usually him that's doing it. And
if it's a lizard, it was probably him.
Yeah, it's definitely a lizard.
I've seen spoilers of the art, and it looks amazing so far. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So it's Yus Abadius.
Abadius, I believe it is.
Heck, I want to show, and I'm going to have a demo out for this soon. I am aiming to have the demo out hopefully the start of next month, because we're two characters away from having all of the demo characters in, and then I just have to make it prettier and get my butt into gear with Renpai, because Renpai's a lot of fun, but the moment you want to start getting interesting with it, it starts getting complicated.
Yes.
So
yes, indeed.
I'm trying not to scope creep too much, but it's really easy to scope creep with Renpai. It's just like, well, what if I added another menu? What if I added another set of choices? What if I added like something that could make this game more interesting down the line? And getting to share that with other people really helps. Tell you what, having character art makes such a difference. Like, I'd been at a standstill with this game for like the last 6 months, more than that, like since a bit before all this started. And having character art for it, it's so gosh darn gorgeous, and like it gives you somewhere to work from, because when you have character art, you can start going, hey, this is how my character stands, and this is you can start using their designs into what's going on. Hey Maddie, you want to see the next character? You want to see the next
yes
character? I'm gonna share it with you. So
spoilers.
So spoilers, just you get that. So that is 3 out of the 5 characters.
Oh my god. He's so good.
So yeah, it's
so excited the internet's lagging.
Yeah, so working on a very, very queer visual novel, about as queer as I can possibly get it to be. But I think that's pretty much it for me. Like, I've just been throwing myself into this demo for the moment because I want to get it out there, because I'm like so excited. My partners have been laughing at me because I'm just so excited to do this, because it's like you get the characters in front of you, it's like, oh my god, this is actually going to happen. I'm not just gonna grab a couple of asset bundles off Renpai and make people pretend that they're these characters. I've actually got characters, and that makes it easier to build a game around. So Kaiju's tip for building a game: if you've got things to work with, if you've got art assets, if you've got music assets, if you've got anything else like that can help you build the world in your own mind, that's going to help you make your game. So highly recommend it, even if it's just going to a friend and say, hey, do you want to try drawing this, and let me know what you think.
Agreed. That's very good advice.
Yeah, Maddie, what's up with you?
Oh man, men are everywhere.
Are men a problem for you right now?
I can't stop doing it. It's because I'm nervous. It's because we haven't done this in a while. I'm forgetting how to speak English. Yes, I've been uncharacteristically busy.
Oh yes, uncharacteristically.
At least this month has been very busy. So since the last podcast, unfortunately, I had to move back in with my parents. So I'm no longer living in the big city, TM, which is a shame. But COVID was sure. Yeah, that was an element in that, unfortunately. So that's a shame. But I'm doing okay. I'm safe. I'm happy with that. I've been doing a lot of writing. I finished, well, it's not actually edited and up on the internet yet, but I finished the novel that I was writing about my Witcher OCs, because that's a thing you can do, I guess. It was meant to be a short story, and then I just couldn't stop. But yeah, so
sometimes I think you're into The Witcher, TM.
Oh, have people figured that out yet? I don't know.
I mean, from the art post, the story post, the everything else like that, it's a little bit of a hint.
It was fully by accident too. I was just like, oh yes, I'm mildly into this, and then I did way too much research and was like, well, I'm in a hole I can't get out of. Okay, I guess I'm a fan of this now. Anyway, so that's finished. Hopefully, I still want to print out a few copies. But we'll see if I can figure that out with COVID shipping and factories and oh god. Anyway,
does your writing make the Witcher universe more queer? Because that game really needs to game needs to up its queer content.
I mean, honestly, that's pretty much why I wrote the thing. I was like, a Witcher OC. Oh no, I've given her a girlfriend. Oh well, here's some content. So yes, that's that. It's very queer. It's like, because I wrote it as kind of a very long short story, there's kind of not that much plot. Nothing really happens. It's just girlfriends being nice. So
girls being girls.
It really is. But yes, so I was writing that. finished that last month. And then all of September has been Spooktober Jam. Oh, I've been so busy. Oh, God. Yes, I'm making a game for the visual novel Jam, Spooktober. The jam takes place in September, and then all of the judging and the celebration and everything happens in October. That's why the name is confusing.
I was wondering why Spooktober for everyone is in September. I'm like, did I miss a month as well? Is it my birthday already? Like,
oh God, I forgot we're both October babies. Yes, no, because it was in October last year, but they moved it up a month because basically none of the streamers or anything had time to play any of the Halloween themed games because Halloween was already over. So they figured doing all of the game dev in September and then moving on to October for like the celebration time actually makes more sense. So
is your Spooktober game gay?
Obviously. Have we met? Hello? What is the name of this podcast?
Then I can stream it.
Yes.
I want to get into this. I'd like to do some of that in October.
Yeah, definitely. So that's exciting. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming out of Spooktober Jam. Some of it queer, some of it just interesting. There's a lot more actual like horror stuff than I was expecting. I was expecting more people to go down the route that our team or my team, whatever. I'm not used to being in charge. But I am, I guess. Someone let that happen. But our team has gone kind of a goofy, like, Halloween dating sim route. But a lot of people are doing, like, actual horror games. So I'm really excited to see how those turn out.
Oh, right. This is the warehouse one?
Yeah. It's called Warehouse. It's basically just an excuse to make cute monster people. I don't know how this became my brand, but it's my brand now.
From what I've seen and from what you've shared so far, I haven't seen a single dateable warehouse yet, and
no,
I'm really disappointed. Like,
no. I'll write you a sequel. You can have a special sequel. It'll only be released to you, or you can date the warehouse. I will make that happen.
The warehouse is actually a mimic, and you can date it.
Oh my God. I would play that game. We don't have any like mimic dating games, and that is a damn shame. Someone should get onto that. Someone that's not me, because I'm doing other shit.
People would probably just do a shapeshifter one, but it's like, no, I want like traditional mimic. I want something that's either a treasure chest or a gazebo.
Exactly. Oh my God, that would be so good. I'm going to look up like if that's copyright infringement. I wonder if WotC actually own mimics, because if not, I will look into that.
Now I'm just imagining that a take on that meme, you know, I attack the gazebo and said I roll to seduce the gazebo.
Yes.
Like, do you know what a gazebo is?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Someone has to have done that. Someone has to have done that already in a D&D game.
I roll to seduce the gazebo. Okay.
Oh God, I have to write this game now, don't I? Okay, I'm putting it on the list. Fine. Yeah, anyway, I sense we're getting off topic.
How could this be off topic? We're talking about dating sims that are queer. So
I mean, I guess. True. But yes, so Warehouse is happening. I've assembled a little team. And we're all working away. There's 3 writers on staff, which seems like a lot, but kind of for the scope that I wanted, we kind of need all 3 of us. So, yes, if you want previews, look at all of the Twitters. My game dev Twitter is DemiDatoDev, because it's the Twitter for my main game, DemiDato. I'm going to change the name at some point to like my studio name, which is Psycho Studios, but that's down the line somewhere. I'll figure that out. What is social media?
Should I make a Twitter account for my game? I don't know that. Should we get we need someone here who knows like marketing. Oh, we need to find a queer marketing person. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good point. I can ask around and see if it's a good idea. There's a lot of like talk about whether it's better to combine your personal account and your game dev account, or whether it's better to separate them. It's kind of, there's pros and cons. I'll send you some articles.
Like, looking at it and the general feel I'm getting out of it, it's like, I don't want this to be a one-time thing. The amount of effort that's gone into the characters and the amount of emotion I'm putting into this thing, I kind of want this to be the start for something much bigger. So wondering if it's worth it just to get it to have that as the entire series. I don't know.
In that case, I think it would possibly be worth it, making a whole separate account.
I mean, worst comes to worst, it's better just to grab the account name if I can decide if
True.
Still deciding if the name itself is worth it, because like,
yes.
Yeah, you think that name?
Yes,
Yeah,
I think the
okay.
name's good. I
Okay.
like it. Well,
Okay.
it is what it is.
It is what it
The
is.
name
I'll give
that you
it
chose.
that. Okay, I need to make a new account then.
I'm a chronic making game titles puns person, but that's not necessarily the best way to go about it. Although Warehouse does have great SEO because it's kind of doesn't make sense in an audio context because it's a homonym, but the pun is werewolf. I've taken the front of werewolf and put it onto warehouse, so it's an E instead of an A.
Can someone be a warehouse? Like every full moon, they just sprout a balcony and a second story or something.
That would be good if it's like a queer safe space every full moon where like queer shapeshifters go into the warehouse, which is also a warehouse.
Ooh, yeah.
Damn,
quick.
I've wasted this title. This is such a good title. No.
Rename it.
It's too late. The graphics are done.
Just cross it
too
out.
late.
You could do that.
I'll do a sequel. Warehouse 2, except it's not a sequel. It's a completely different content. It's fine. Everything's fine. I think that's it for me. Yeah, so that'll be out October 1st, if not before. Keep an eye out on the social medias and the itchios.
What have you been playing? What games have you been playing lately?
Oh, well, I finished Witcher 3, finally. Even though that was the thing, because I was the token Witcher fan for a long time, but I haven't read most of the books, and I hadn't actually finished Witcher 3 and all of the DLC yet. So I finally did that. It was great. It's great, you know. Obviously, that's a great game. I finally got a copy of Ring Fit. I've been really enjoying it. As a professional couch potato, I'm amazed that I am actually having fun exercising. Like, I thought it would be a gimmick and then I would get bored, but I am still doing it. And I started playing, I think, 3 and a bit weeks ago. So that's really good for me. I'm very excited. So hopefully I can stick with it.
Maybe I should get it. Tempting.
I think you should. It's like, it's a bit expensive for something that if you're not sure if it's actually going to be good or not, but I would recommend it. I think it is good if you can get a copy.
I mean, if it's probably more accessible than the Wii Fit. Do you remember those?
I do. Well, I never had a Wii, but I played Wii Fit at my friends' houses and then got tennis elbow. Though that was from Wii Sport. My bad. But yes.
Oh, the only problem is that I'm just having a look at it. The Ring Fit needs like 2 working controllers. And I've got controller drift.
See, it doesn't actually matter with the stick drift because it's all motion controls. And it actually doesn't, I'm pretty sure it doesn't even read stick input from the blue controller or the left one, whatever it is. Because the left one I have stick drifted both of my Joy-Cons. And because obviously, of course I do. But the blue one is worse and it doesn't affect it at all.
Same. This isn't a shaming Nintendo podcast, but Nintendo.
I mean, it can be.
Shame.
But fix your Joy-Cons, fam. Anyway, but Ring Fit is fine if you have controller drift because it's all motion controls, so you should be fine. Because I didn't even think about it until I got the box, and I was like, oh, should have put thought into this, but it was fine. Yes, the difference between Wii Fit and Ring Fit, just before we move on from the subject because it's not really related, is that it's the storyline. It's like actually an RPG, and I thought that was kind of a gimmick, whatever, to sell the game, but like it really is actually an RPG. There's like turn-based battles. There's like a color system, so if you use like a color of exercise, it like does more damage to certain enemies and like stuff like that. There's actual video game to be thinking about, so it really does like activate the video game part of my brain where I'm like, oh man, if I do planks, which I fucking hate planks because of course I hate planks, they're terrible, but I'm like motivated to do planks because there's yellow enemies and like it's a spread attack and like all of this stuff, so like it really does actually work on that level, whereas I feel like Wii Fit was just like wiggle the Wii remote, you did it, okay, you're done, like that kind of thing.
The gamification of like exercise and stuff like that is a really useful way to do things, especially in the world we're in right now where it's hard to get the motivation to do things. Like where I am in Australia, we've been under some of the harshest lockdowns from all this in the world for the last couple of months, and the motivation to get out and do anything is really hard when you know that you're so limited by what you can do and where you can go do it. Yeah, I might get that actually. I think it's on special at the moment, so
Do it.
I might
Do
get
it.
Yeah.
Beat my high scores on the rhythm games, I dare you.
Challenge accepted.
Good. Now we have a tournament. Digital Diversity Rhythm Game Tournament. Hell yeah.
We could stream that.
What else?
I could stream that.
Yeah, we could stream that.
Yeah.
Double stream.
Yeah, I like this idea.
Okay.
What else?
Look out for that, I guess. Yes, what else have I been playing? I guess like any reasonable person in this scenario with a Switch, I've been playing Animal Crossing. Although not for a hot minute. I've put it down for a little while because I got burnt out. But that definitely carried me through a lot of quarantine.
Like that one definitely came up in the panel a little bit for positive and negative reasons.
Yeah.
And Animal Crossing has been a very useful way for a lot of people to express themselves and romance in connected ways that, you know, they can go do personally and privately without really worrying about how outside forces will see them and stuff like that. But it's also had a little bit of queer baiting and localization issues and stuff like that. I understand in a way why Nintendo have done things the way they have, but we all know in our hearts that Flick and CJ belong together.
Oh God, they were roommates.
Partners.
I know. But they also live together, I think, in canon as well.
Yeah, they do.
Give us what we need, Nintendo. But anyway, I think overall it's been a positive.
Yeah, but burnout has definitely been a thing. Like I picked it up for the first time in like a month and a half, 2 months, and I did a little stream and I jumped back into it and I just looked and it's like, what am I doing now?
Yeah.
What is my reason to push on with this?
I'm just scared of all the weeds. There's going to be so many weeds. Oh God, it's too late.
The weeds in the new Animal Crossing aren't the bad
They're pretty.
thing.
That's true. I know. But also, like, I have a big flower field, like a huge rainbow flower field. But I was like, that was the thing that I was putting off. I was like, I'm going to have to pull all of these out and organize them and then plant them again. But like, they're just going to be out of control. My whole island is going to be flowers. Oh, it's too late. I can just never sign back in again. It's the only way.
Yeah, the place was beautiful when you left, and that's how you're going to leave it. It's up to the residents.
Exactly. That's how it is in my mind. Everything's fine.
I think we all got our money's worth out of that game, though.
Totally. Oh yeah, if you count by hours spent alone, hell yeah. I think Ace Attorney was the only other thing on my list, and that's only because I'm a very bad visual novel dev. I've never played Ace Attorney, so I finally started picking that up in the last couple of days, and it's been a blast. I've seen playthroughs of most of the first game, but I'm finally on to like the case that I haven't seen, which is the last one. And I'm so excited. I'm very invested. So it's kind of one of those things where you just see, I've seen Ace Attorney and the main ship, obviously, Narimitsu. I've seen that around and I've seen so much artwork of it that I'm like weirdly more invested than I think I should be. I'm like, because I know all of these
Phoenix
characters.
and Edgeworth.
Oh, yeah. Which, I mean, my God. Yeah, I don't know how they didn't intend to do that. Because I think I've read interviews where the writers were like, yeah, we kind of just accidentally, really, really obvious subtext. And everyone's like, yeah, duh. But apparently that wasn't on purpose.
I think after that, everyone just now fights because they know it's a thing. Even if the devs aren't going to say anything, they know it's a thing. I think the fights primarily in the community is who's the top and who's the bottom.
Oh my God. They're both switches, obviously. The only way to resolve this.
And then they realized they were both switches and they were happy about that. That's fine.
And they were happily ever after. But yes, the courtroom tension has been really getting me through lately. I'm enjoying it a lot. And it's also nice to just experience like one of the visual novels, even though like weirdly it's popular enough that nobody thinks of it as a visual novel. Everyone thinks of it as like a point and click, like adventure game. And I'm like, it's a visual novel. Okay, but anyway,
if we're talking about popular visual novels, I'm glad there's one really big name in visual novels right now that's doing so well. Crusader Kings 3.
Ooh.
Not marketed as a visual novel, but it is
definitely not.
It's literally Civilization with giant visual novels slapped onto the side of it. And it has a lot of queer rap, and you can make it. You can set it up so you can just have entire queer dynasties and things like that. And
Nice.
people are just having a lot of fun with it. And it also brought out one of those big discussions of like, yes, your game is a visual novel. I'm sorry, your game is a visual novel.
You're going to have to come to terms with that.
You're going to have to come to terms. And a lot of it is romance visual novels. You're getting these choices.
I know.
It's being
God.
it's being provided in a very specific way. They're telling a story. This is a visual novel. It is a visual novel when this 2-year-old child has the king assassinated. Because we can only assume because they weren't given enough cookies or something like that, so they can ascend the
same.
throne.
That's me through all of quarantine. Just put carbs in. It's the only way to make everything okay.
It's just making me happy that there's a game that focuses so heavily on narrative doing so well. The only other one that I've seen that's done the same sort of thing is like Caves of Cud with its storytelling, and people really getting into the narrative and sharing stories makes me so happy.
That is awesome. So what have been your comfort games during this time, TM, as we keep referring to it?
RPGs. I've been playing a lot of RPGs lately. I picked up Wasteland 3 and I played a lot about that because Wasteland, if you haven't played, were like the inspiration for the Fallout games, and the people who originally made the Wasteland games went on to make the Fallout games because they couldn't get the license or something. And that inspired essentially a whole genre of post-apocalyptic stuff. And that was a lot of fun. I played that up until it got so buggy that I couldn't play it anymore. So I went back and started playing Wasteland 2, which I'd like never really gotten far with. But it's like, you know what? I was enjoying 3. Let's play 2 now that I know how to play it. And I really enjoyed that. And then I jumped back into like Morrowind. When you're in a space that you just need escapism and you need to focus on the outside, like a different outside, RPGs are where they're at. Holy crap.
Truly.
I really need to get back into Dragon Age Inquisition. I never
we
managed
both need to play that.
Yeah, I never actually got around to finishing it, and I feel really sad that I left. What was her name? Sarah. The lesbian elf representation.
Yeah, she's the best.
I left her behind, and she's going to have so many words to say to me.
Oh God, she really would. I feel like she would be the most likely to break the fourth wall and be like, hey, where did you go?
She wouldn't get passive aggressive. She'd just walk up to you, stab an arrow through your foot and say,
True.
You owe me dinner.
Now you can't leave because you're stuck to the floor.
You don't get to leave again.
Yes, that's definitely in character for her.
Especially since there was the Dragon Age 4 announcement.
Ooh.
With some interesting looking art. I'm not sure how deep they went into that, but I know it's a Dragon Age game and people are going to get in. And
people are theorizing already. I've seen some long threads that I did not understand, but I read them all anyway.
Yeah.
That's me with all of Dragon Age pretty much. Is like, I know not enough, but this is cool.
I'm just hoping that we get some more queer human characters. I really do.
Yes.
Because
in the trailer there was that Kinari, the horned character. She radiates lesbian energy. So like, I have hopes.
Just the pose there, yeah.
Oh.
Did you want to talk about something there?
No, I just have a lot of feelings. All of Twitter was making that noise when the trailer came out. Okay, it wasn't just me.
Yeah, we're fans of monster loving around here, and and Kanari will broadly fall into that on the lesser side of the spectrum. Like, I don't know if you've seen there's a kind of meme scale that went around for a while. It's like, how queer are you based on the kind of monster that you date? And, you know, like the low side was things like cat girls and stuff like that, you know, very, very human with a little bit of animalistic in there. Around the middle, you get like full on werewolves and stuff like that, you know. And on the far other side of it, you've got things like elder gods and the void of space and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm a 10. I'm probably a 12 out of 10 in this one.
My favorite. But
that was so good. And yeah, I think most people sit it around a 2 or a 3 that I know of, at least.
That's actually quite a good segue into the next topic. Kind of. Do you have any more games you want to talk about?
No, I'm good there. It's been hard to find games to really focus on right now because
that's a mood.
Not being able to get out and about makes it hard to focus on games.
I was going to segue into You Need to Play This, which, if you heard us before, is our segment where we talk about games by queer folks about queer stuff that you need to play. And we figured since we've been gone for a little while, we will do an inflated is not as pretty a sounding word as I meant, a bigger version.
A kaiju-sized.
Yeah, there we go. That's on brand. Yes, we'll do a kaiju-sized version of that segment. So I've got a list of 4, I think. I don't know how many you've got, but we'll just take turns.
I've got 2 at the moment. I'm going to go digging through my list while we go through. So go ahead.
Cool. I will start then. The first one on my list, which will make sense of why I segued so hard, is called Monster City Bakery. It is by Edgebug. You can find it on itch.io at edgebug.itch.io. And only the demo is out right now. They released the demo on September 3rd, so only recently. And as you can tell by the title, it's got monster people in it, except they're not monster people, they're actual monsters. Kind of an arachnophobia warning. You can date a big spider. She looks very cute. I'm very excited.
Hey, this game has been on my to playlist for a bit now since I saw the demo. Have you? I want to see. I'm just looking at the art now, and there's a bat character, a punk bat with a Bi Pride earplug. What else do you want from games, people? We have reached the pinnacle. That's it. Everyone go home. I mean, this is everything that I need in this world. But yeah, looking at the art, I'm just I need to see what this is like.
Definitely. So yeah, I think they are actually a solo dev, as far as I can see, by the way, as well, which is very impressive because this game looks polished. The visual style is very nice. The writing seems great from what I've seen so far. So I think they are doing a character creator in the final version of the game as well as some partial voice acting. So if you're not excited for this game, you are not the target audience for this podcast.
I'm just looking at the some of the synopsis in there. So the demo's in there. So the entire intro and the first three first dates are playable. A gorgon, a werewolf, and the literal giant spider.
What else do you want, people? So definitely either play the demo now or keep very close tabs on that as it keeps being tweeted.
I think I need to get onto the demo. I think I need to check out the creators and see what it's like. Because always check out your creators before you really get into a game, folks, because sometimes you might find some ones out there who can be questionable with their attitudes.
Nothing about that's topical in the news right now that I can think of.
Yeah, and sometimes the attitudes of the creators can go into the games, and that can make the games not particularly nice for folks.
Agreed. Do you want to go into one onto your list?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to go one on my list. So I'm going to talk about My Home Is You by the wonderful Tangled Virus and The Last Fury Samurai. And so most of these will probably be ones that I streamed, but that's usually the time when I get most of my time with queer games. My Home Is You is a really touching and wholesome story about a non-binary couple who move in together in an abandoned morgue. And it sounds like it would be content warning-y and creepy and something you'd probably find in Spooktober, but is one of the nicest and most wholesome visual novels that I've played in quite a while. It's about living together in a morgue, and it's just 100% wholesome and sweet and so very gay. If you've never checked out Tangled Virus's games, they just get gayer. They keep getting gayer, and at some point reality is going to crack under the weight of the gay. And I'm looking forward to that day.
Yes, exactly.
It's the only way we'll take down gods.
Okay, I will go next with a game called Strength is Other People by Drazillion, who, if you've listened to us before, is a friend of the show. We love them. That was released for Rainbow Jam late last month, and it is a short, meditative, I think it was made in Bitsy experience. It's a maze game, but a story-based maze game. And I'm not going to say anything else because if you want to play it, playable in browser, you can play it in like 5-10 minutes. Just do it yourself. But highly recommended. That was a very, very nice experience.
I love Bitsy games. I love them so
Yeah.
much. I got one of those sitting on the back burner too, but that's thankfully one that I don't need artists for. I just need to get my butt into gear and work and do.
Yes, that's the beauty and the curse of Bitsy games is that you can do it all yourself. So, whoops. You have no artists, no one else to motivate you, but also, yeah, it's very accessible.
Yeah, I'm hoping that working on the other one for an amount of time gets me more in the mood to do more of that stuff. So my second game is Validate. So this one I was so heckin' excited to hear past their stretch goals on their Kickstarter with flying colors.
Oh, yeah. Well and truly.
I'm not quite sure where they got up to, but so this
It was high.
It was high, yeah. So there's more than a dozen characters. There's more than, I think there's at least 30 romanceable routes in there between those characters. So you pretty much pick any of the characters and you date other characters from that list. So there's a lot going on in there, and it's queer as fuck, and it's an almost all people of color cast in terms of cast of characters. I say almost all because there was so much reaction to them having an all people of color cast that they had a bunch of people claiming racism. It's like you don't have.
If you're on Twitter during that time, it was just like, oh god.
I really have to hand it to the folks who made it. So I interviewed them as well. There's a blog with the interview up on the website as well. And how they handled the vitriol coming out of the gaming world, the toxicity, was fantastic because they made a joke out of all the attacks, essentially. They deflated all of the negativity and went, this is funny. And in the end, they actually added as one of their stretch goals, like one of their high-end stretch goals, that if they got to a certain level, they would add a white person to the game. And
amazing.
The memeing to come out of that character has been beautiful. So everyone's taking it for the they're not a joke character. They're still a valid character with, their own attitudes and everything. But everyone's just going, yeah, you're the token character in this one, and they're just having a lot of fun with it. So yeah, heckin' love that one. Looking forward to when it comes out. Not sure when, probably next year at this rate.
I think it has to be next year at least. They've got a lot of extra content to work on because of the stretch goals.
I'm not sure if they made it to the fishing mini game that they really wanted to get in there. I hope they did, but in talking to the devs, they want there to be some kind of fishing mini game mechanic in there in some way, shape, or form. So it might not be a full mini game, but there's going to be something in there.
That would be the perfect visual novel if they got their fishing game. That's it.
I'm trying to work out how to put a fishing game in my visual novel.
Visual novel and fishing game. Those are the two categories that make it a real video game TM.
Well, there's certain things you need to make a video game. One is that you need crates to be in there somewhere, and two, you need a fishing mini game. And if you don't have those two things, you can't really claim that it's a video game. Unfortunately, with the tone of the game that I'm making itself, any kind of fishing mini game would probably be pretty grim.
You have to make it really central to the plot to sell it, though. Like, there has to be a vital clue. Oh no, a fish has swallowed it. What shall we do? Fish for the next 12 hours.
Well, the fishing mini game doesn't have to imply that there's fish. It just means that you're getting something out of the water.
See, your brain is bigger than mine. This is why.
I'm not the one who wrote an entire book about The Witcher.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if that implies my brain is big, though, to be honest.
Hyper-focused. Okay, go for your next one.
The hyperfocus is real. Yes, my next game is called Ask Her Out by Atelier Garbage. And this was just really cute and small. It's their first-time dev, as far as I can see. This game released last week. It's in Game Boy Studio, my favorite. Super cute, really short adventure where you're going to ask a girl out. There's lots of NPCs who you can stop and talk to and tell them about how you're going to go ask a girl out. It's very cute. It'll take you like 10 minutes to play it tops, but definitely go support that dev because that was super cute. A really nice experience. I liked it a lot.
Nice. I'll do one more because I can talk about more. We were talking about Animal Crossing before. The other one I wanted to kind of bring up is a really, really wonderful and different one called Tiny Rainbow Rebels. And I streamed this as well. And this was a great little Twine game. And it's essentially a gay communism Animal Crossing in Twine.
Hell yeah.
The main story being you're this frog who's just finished taking down capitalism, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And all the wealth or all the fruit has been redistributed.
Mm-hmm.
So they use fruit as kind of the currency, like in Animal Crossing.
Really hard to understand metaphor there.
Yeah, really hard to understand metaphor there. And it's just a bunch of really adorable, cute, queer, I'm not sure how many of them are queer, but there's definitely a lot of queer animals just hanging out and doing stuff, like going for motorcycle rides or telling stories and watching the stars and things like that. And that one's by Totolin. And yeah, that one's really cute. And they do a bunch of other really cute queer games. Like they did one that's just you going around as a dinosaur on this vaporwave kind of background, putting neon stickers on everything and dancing with dinosaurs.
Oh my God.
And
amazing.
yeah, that's my thing. That's sort of my thing. But that's my three. Have you got anything else?
I have one more, and this was also from Rainbow Jam. So Rainbow Jam was last month, I believe. So same jam as the game from Jazillion that I covered earlier. But it is called Subway Cleansed. It is by FF Mayer. I'm going to spell that because I don't know if I pronounced it right. FFMAER.itch.io. And this was super interesting. Not really usually my kind of game. It's a puzzle game, and it's themed around erasing stigma around queer issues. And you basically move these little emojis of people around to surround the stigma, and that gets rid of it. And like the object of this game is to clear like the entire stage. Really interesting. Super cool to look at visually as well. I just really thought it was interesting. So definitely go check that out. You can also play it in browser.
I love games you can play in browser. It just makes
so
everything so much easier.
Really does.
Oh heck. That's a lot of games.
That's everything. That is a lot of games. So you guys have a lot of homework. Y'all have homework this week, this month, this year, whatever time is this time.
So what are you working on right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm working on the script for Warehouse now, right this minute. I will probably go do that after this podcast is finished because, whoops, scope creep.
Are you working on something else, possibly about one of your previous games?
Might be. Well, yeah, okay. Let's drop a little reveal of that. So any previous friends of the podcast, previous listeners will know that in 2018, I released a game called When Aster Falls that was indirectly responsible for starting this podcast, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's fun. I love it when wild stuff happens like that. But I made that in a month for Maximum Monster Jam, and I was proud of it at the time, but I've come a long way. And it was originally free to download, and you can donate if you want. And I'm like, maybe I will change that. So basically, I'm going to do a remastered version of When Aster Falls. There is some new art, which I have seen, and Kaiju has seen a little bit of it, and I'm very excited. It's so cute. So 3 new CG artworks. I'm going to do a few GUI upgrades of how the game actually looks because it was pretty jank at the time, to be honest. Which, I mean, whatever. I've come a long way, so there's a lot of things I want to change about it, and I'm going to make it a paid game with community copies. And anyone who's paid for the game already should still be able to download it, as far as I'm aware. But if not, people can send me receipts and stuff, and I'll give you a key. But yeah, that's exciting. That should be next month, I think, possibly. I have a lot of Spooktober Jam things to do. But after that, it should be up pretty fast. So sometime during October, have a look out for that.
I can't wait. And I'm probably going to stream it again because I can't wait to see how it all looks and have all those feels again.
Yeah.
Because, gosh, it gave me so many feels. And
honestly, when I replayed it, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Now I'm having feelings. So that means it's probably good.
Yeah, when you step away from something you've done and get to go through it again with essentially a whole new lot of neurons, and you just go, hey, this is fun. I like this. And you go, who wrote this? Wait. Oh,
hey, me.
I made myself feel weird. I made myself have feelings.
I know. It's very weird. It's time travel. That's the only time travel we'll ever be able to do, probably. Think about that.
Oh gosh. All right. I guess we talk about what is coming up for
Yes.
the Digital Diversity Project, because we took some time out because of the world and everything that was happening in it and things that were happening with us. I think things are going to be relatively calm through the rest of this month, although by the time this goes up, it'll be the end of the month anyway, so ha 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 ha.
You tell us. Was it calm? We don't know.
You tell us. Did things get worse after the 17th, but before whenever it is you're listening to it? Because we don't know. We don't know these things. What I have been doing is last year I had a bunch of articles published for trade media through Queerly Represent Me, which is a fantastic resource of queer representation in games. I think of it as the resource for queer representation in games.
Definitely.
We try our best to do what we can, but they are amazing. They have great big spreadsheets of, what kind of representation do you want? Do you want them as the protagonist? Do you want them as like supporting characters? Things like that. And they're just wonderful folks. They do a lot. And I did a bunch of articles for them predominantly about queer gaming in one way or another. The site that had those up kind of got bought out, or they changed their media anyway. They changed who was in charge and their naming and everything else like that. And those articles no longer were available to people. And I was sad because I put a lot of time and love into some of those.
Yeah.
And so after much umming and ahhing and asking around, I decided to put them up on the blog. So they are up there now, and I'm putting them up there one every week. So probably by the time you'll hear this, all of the Game As You Are, GAYA articles should be up on nbkaiju.com. There's some good ones there. I'm really looking forward to putting up the Monster Love article. I think that's going to be the next one, because that one had a lot of community engagement, because I asked everyone, like, why do you love monsters? God, we still need to do that podcast. We need to do that one. We need to find the right person to talk about loving monsters. Still got a bunch of games left to stream. I do need to do a shout out and see if anyone else wants to put their games on the list. And you out there, gentle reader or listener or whatever you are, however you consume your podcasts, if you are making a game and are queer, the game itself does not have to be queer. Please let me know, and so I can stream it, because here on Digital Diversity, we don't care so much about the content, even though the games we play are all awesome. We care about you, the ones who make the games, because you're important and you deserve more attention. What else is coming up?
So is the Google form linked on the Digital Diversity Twitter or your Twitter, the pinned tweet? It's there somewhere.
It's there somewhere. Yeah, it's all there somewhere.
There's a Google form. Submit your games. Give us your games. We want them.
we want your games.
Yes.
Gosh, I think we're up to nearly 100 submitted games now.
Nice.
And the Digital Diversity collection, so the curated collection we actually have up on itch, that I've created on itch, is now at 101 games, I believe. So if y'all want to play a bunch of queer games, there's a lot of them out there, and most of them are pay what you want. So if you've got a little to spare, you can give it to the devs. But if you don't have a lot to spare, you can play the games and then talk about how much you like the games. Because, going in there and reviewing games is really important, especially if you really like the game and you give it 5 stars. Because here's a hint, folks. Most review systems care if you give the game 5 stars or not 5 stars. That is unfortunately how most algorithms work. So if you like a game, give it 5 stars. It's the way to go. It'll mean more eyes get to go on that game, and that's kind of important.
Also worth noting, just while we're on itch reviews, not a lot of people know that when you're giving your 5-star review because you like the game, there's a little comment box when you're submitting your review, and if you write a comment in there, no one can see that but the dev. So that's kind of a good spot for if you have a personal message to the developer or anything like that. But if you want to give a testimonial or tell people to buy the game or say exactly what you liked about it, excuse me, the comments on the game page on itch.io is a better place for that because those are public comments. Whereas if you leave a review comment, nobody can see that. So
it's a weird way of doing it, but it is weird, what worked. Itch, while being still, I believe, the only real place for queer games and games by marginalized people in general
certainly right now
flourish. It still has some issues, mostly around reviewing and payment options, I believe, are the biggest ones. But yeah, if you like a game on there, just rate it. Like, I tend to go through once every month or so. I go through all of the games I've played over that month, and I tend to just go, did I like it? Yes, 5 stars. And if there's something really specific I liked about it, I leave it in the comments. And then I talk about it loudly on Twitter, because Twitter's a really good place to talk about why you liked something. I don't know if you all know how good that is, but just going onto social media and saying to the world, hey, I really liked this. You don't even have to go further than that. You can just say, I liked this game. And the devs are going to really appreciate that. And if a dev is happy that other people like their games, they'll make more of those games. And that's kind of good, because it means we get in this constant positive affirmation loop of a good game comes out and we like the game, and the dev is happy that we like the game, and the dev makes another game and we like that new game, and it just goes around and around. It's much better than the negative cycle that we see quite a lot, and we don't want that.
Yes.
But yeah, aside from that, Digital Diversity Project is going to ramp back up at some point as soon as I get the spoons to start streaming again. Definitely wanted to give a break during PAX week, because everyone's focusing on the panels and not getting enough sleep and all that sort of stuff, and I think people put a lot of effort into PAX, so I'm gonna happily give them that space before I move back into stuff. And then I need to get onto reviews and all of that fun stuff that we do here. Oh gosh. We started this year so positively and so optimistically. Maddie and I had so many plans by March. I think you and I had decided a bunch of stuff by March or by April that we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then it's just the world just started throwing stuff. The world had a temper tantrum, and
yeah, the screaming 20s have begun.
But you know what? We're doing our best, and we're doing it together, and that's important. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. How about you?
I think so. Do we have any Patreon notes before we go?
Yes, I believe that we have one Patreon, Onyx, who is at our shout out tier. So thank you, Onyx, for supporting the Digital Diversity Project, and for everyone else who supports us, be it on our Patreon, be it on Twitter, who just hangs out in streams. You all support us. But if you want a special shout out, then jump onto our Patreon, patreon.com/digitaldiversity. Every little bit helps, especially right now, because I kind of lost my job due to all this, and so all of the support we get keeps this thing running.
Sure does.
Because I want this project to keep going. It ain't going anywhere. Neither am I. But I think that's it.
So you can find me at Time Patches on Twitter. All of my game dev stuff is linked in my pinned tweet. Yeah, keep an eye out for all of the Spooktober games, including mine, next month. And I think that's it from me.
I have been Kaiju. You can find me at NB Kaiju on the Twitter and pretty much everywhere else, especially since I recently updated my Twitch username to NB Kaiju, so you can find me there too, especially when I do the Digital Diversity streams. All of my stuff is up there on the Twitters, good, bad, and otherwise. And
that's Twitter for you.
Go and give a quick follow to the Digital Diversity Twitter account as well, at DigiDiverse, all one word. That is just a great place for you to keep an eye on what's going, be it our streams, our podcasts, our blogs, everything else like that. It's all up there, although you and I will undoubtedly share everything that goes on there anyway. So you'll hear about it one way or another.
Yes, and that is a threat.
And that is a threat. Keep an eye out because I'll hopefully have the demo up of my game not long after this podcast episode goes up, which I'm super excited about.
Yes.
So until next time, folks, look after yourselves. Look after each other. Seriously, look after each other.
Mm-hmm.
You are not alone, and we will talk to you and be with you next time. See ya.
Bye, everybody.